So if you go to more academic terms, we have the Abhinaya, we have the Bhava. The Bhava is set up into various, various sections as Bhava, Vibhava, Anubhava, Vyabhichari Bhava, and all that. So when we look at the text, again, in the Natya Shastra, it's called as Rasa, and there are 9 in number. In Tolkapyam, it is called as Meipadu. Natya Shastra is 8. Meipadu is also 8. And Kuttanul talks about 9. And what is the inner emotion? That is what we call as Bhava. So Sthai is what Bharata says. Kurippu or Chattuvam is what Tolkapyam says. And Aham is what Kuttanul says. And what about these fleeting emotions? Vyabhichari Bhava, and there are 33, which Bharata mentions. Tolkapyam gives the name Meipadu to the Abhinaya or the Rasa, and then Tunai Meipadu is the name. So 32 in number. 33 Vyabhicharis, 32 Tunai Meipadu, and Kuttanul gives the name Ilai. And it is 48 in number.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And that was my first curiosity to even work on Kuttanul. Why?
Why?
How come? How come? But if you look at the psychology and the recent update on various, man has become even more complex. We are no more simple beings.
Yes.
And now they are able to bring out up to 72 names of these Vyabhichari Bhavas.
Wow.
Changes, so many changes, So something which was so simple 50 years before is no more that simple. Everything with the type of formality you see around us, or sometimes some people are not able to mind sync, even though it is your own. In many houses where there are twins, they'll be very, very different from each other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Twins they are. So only in fractions of second they would have been born, but there'll be 2 different personalities.
Absolutely.
So with that, how do you even come to a common grounding? And then think about the rasa and make everybody enjoy. It's really challenging, but it's also very interesting. When I did my production, Alavadi Eppidiyo, there is this particular scene where we depict the story of Sirithundar. Sirithundar is one who sacrifices his own son for a meal for Shiva. And then, the husband and wife decide upon their child, they bring their child, and then the slicing happens. And I had people in the audience crying. In fact, we even have a debate when we created the choreography, whether to have a real child or not have a real child. I did not even have a real child because then the mental image goes gross. I don't want people to see the bloodshed and other things. I only wanted to see the commitment of what Sirithundar wanted to give there. So it was just this. And then as he does this, he will turn and then say, I have done this. Even that fraction of a second, people were having tears. What I showed was not real, but the tears were real. So this is the most interesting part of the Rasa theory, where somebody gets a goosebump.
Correct.
Where somebody cries, or even in a romantic scene, you blush when the heroine has something, right? So out of the unreal, we are trying to even touch the inner self or the sattva of the person. We have the Satwika Bhavas, where we call it as involuntary actions. It is just comes in a flash. Unless the mind is touched, it cannot happen. Right? So
Absolutely.
What happens after the names of rasas? Shringara is the first one in Natya Shastra. We have Shringara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, and then Veera, and then Bhaya or Bhayanaka, and then Bibhatsa, Adbhuta. If you look at the names in Tolkapyam, we have Uvagai, and then Nagai. Uvagai is pleasure or happiness. Nagai is the smile or laughter. For Karuna, the equivalent is Alugai. So you see happy and sad as rasas. Uvagai, Alugai. And then we have Veguli, and then Perumidam, Acham, Ilivaral, Marutkai. If I have to give a translation, Veguli is when you get angry. Perimidam is like proud. And then Ilivaral is disgust. And then Marutkai is Adbhuta.
So when you take,
So between,
can take it as Veera also, is it?
which one?
When you take it as proud, can you take it as Veera also?
Yes, that is what I was going to say. Pyramidam is the parallel to Veera, but we have four reasons for how one can have Pyramidam. If you are physically fit and you are ready to dare, that is where we call it as Veera. But Pyramidam can also come for various other reasons. Sometimes even out of generosity, you give somebody, something, and you feel very proud and contented. Proud is not the exact word, but you feel that I did this at that point of time. So even with Sringara, even though Sringara is the main rasa, given as a rasa, it comes as one of the reasons for pleasure. And the other names, when Kuttanul is concerned, it gives the name of Kamam, which is exactly Sringara. Hasya as Nagai, Karuna as Irakkam, Raudra as Viral, Veera as Tiral, and Bhayanaka Acham, Vibhatsa is Veruppu, and Adbhuta is a Viyappu, and it has one last, final, or even the beginning, if I have to say, Naduvu Nilai. Equipoised, Naduvu Nilai. And which can be considered as, equivalent to Shanta.
Shanta, correct.
Shanta, because in Shanta also we say that, the person is not moved by anything. He's like completely, stable, clear, peaceful, all that. So this is named as Naduvu Nilai as far as Kuttanul is concerned. So we have seen the names of the rasas. I'll move to my next slide where the connection or the rasa process, the most important thing is bhava turns into rasa. And that is why we have the sthayi bhava. And then various vabicharis acting on it and giving us the particular rasa.
Right.
So bhava has to be present in a person. We generally take that it is for normal people. So if a person is normal, he has definitely the 8 emotions or what we call as sthayi given to him by birth. So if you have the rati, you get Sringara. You can understand Sringara or you get Sringara. If you have the Bhayanaka, you understand what is Bhaya.
Right.
So what is Bhava inside a person? We have two now. We have the actor who has the rati. We also have the audience who have the rati. If the actor brings out his acting skills in the given setting, all idealistic thing, you understand from him, his bhava, the rasa is given. And as an onlooker, you take the rasa and you feel the bhava from inside. So bhava to rasa, and then the communication happens, rasa to bhava and audience, then the cycle is complete. And this can happen in a very, very ideal situation. And to me, I will say it needn't be ideal every time. In a 1.5 hour performance when somebody presents, even if it happens for 2-3 times through the program, somebody has a goosebump all of a sudden.
I know.
Somebody has a tears all of a sudden. You have actually touched the sattva of the person. Then the day is done. The whole presentation, even it is for 2-3 seconds, then the whole day is done is what I will say. And that is what we also look forward to. This has to happen on the onlooker. See, he is not, as we already told right in the beginning, it is not real.
Absolutely.
It's not real. But the rasa still happens. The tears and the goosebumps are real. Right? From something which is not real, you're bringing real. That is one of the important aspects of the rasa. And but technically we have a lot of names given. We talked about the bhavas. We have the sthayi bhava. It has to be present by nature.
Right.
A lot of dancers would know. So maybe young dancer likes to know the names.
Absolutely.
The sthayi even by inner nature. So it comes by nature. Vibhava is the ambience in which it is set. If I am talking in my house, I am different. If I'm in a university hall, I'm different. If I'm in a performance hall, the way I wear, I present myself might be different. So the ambience, according to ambience, also quite a lot changes. And then how we respond to certain things, that is anubhava. Then we have the Satwika Bhava, which is so important, which lies in the deeper layers of the mind.
Right.
And how the Sai turns into Rasa. If you have the Rati nuts with you, you can get Shrigara. If you have the Hasa, you will get Hasya. If you have a sense of Shoka, then you have Karuna. So the Sthai Bhava is what turns into Rasa. Each one of them have one corresponding Rasa. So Rati to Sringara, Hasa to Hasya, Shoka to Karuna, Krodha to Raudra, Utsaha to Veera, Jugupsa to Bibhatsa, and Vismaya to Adbhuta. So how are the stages of Rasa aligned, if we want to talk about that? The stages of Rasa. The poem or the script or even the storyline, it should have a lot of ingredients inside it. We call the poem as impregnated poem.
Right.
Not like, she came and then she went. There should be a little more. She came in like a breeze and went like one storm. Then there is more character.
Right.
She came, she went doesn't have. So the poem itself should be impregnated with quite a lot of things inside. And this crux, technically we call it as a sthai, has to be internalized by the actor. Then he delivers it as abhinaya. Then when the delivering has happened, whom it reaches is a sahridaya. And he has to perceive it out of what is said. Say, for example, I do something like this. The audience should not just say it is a Kadakamukha and Alapadma.
Right. Absolutely.
They should be able to sense that this is an action of plucking a flower and collecting a flower.
Absolutely.
So it is now up to them. Now the actor has done everything. Now it goes through the abhinaya, it goes to the audience. Now they have to now sort of decode from the coded language. Then they start seeing the flower. Until then, it is only a Kadakamukha. If they don't decode, it is a Kadakamukha and Alapadma.
Correct.
Yes. But if they decode, now they start understanding that they even see the flower which is not there in their mind's eye. And if that perception by the ideal Sahridaya happens, then the relish has no, nothing stops the relish. And of the highest order of relish is what I told you already, the tears or the blushing or the horripilation which can come. That is the highest of order. So even in the normal order, if it is not the highest order, if we have, the clapping or the whistle or something, we call it as a siddhi, the reaction, how much they enjoyed.
Right.
The technical word is siddhi. If they clap and whistle and they express, then it is manushi siddhi. If they are dumbstruck with tears in their eyes, they're not even moving, then it is daiviki siddhi.
Wow.
If they have visited their inner self, we all say our inner self is Paramatma. You get a chance to do that. Visiting your own inner self. And that is why it is of, biggest of the, it's like, who am I? Question Madhuri. What is this rasa? And if this happens, you have really touched the ultimate by coding and decoding by abhinaya and giving it to the performer. And the ideal Sahridaya sees it, decodes it, understands it. Not only understand is the minimal,
surface
idea.
level. Right.
Surface level. I understood what she did. That's it. But participating, experiencing, relishing are more degrees onto it. They actually go more degrees, finally visit their own inner self. And that is the best beauty of the rasa happening. So it's all about all these stages. It crosses these many stages to come into the hand or the perception of the audience. And if it happens, then that is the best day for a performer, I will say. For the director, yeah. How can somebody get scared or how can somebody laugh if they are not ready to participate? But if they are able to decode, understand, and more than that, more than understanding, like I said, if they go up in the layers and visit their most being, then they are like stunned. That is the best of the Rasa experience that somebody can do. Is the Rasa same for everybody? It cannot. Direct answer is no. It cannot. No. Say, for example, very easy is, somebody watches an accident in front of their eyes. And it's not a very good example, but still for us to understand the idea, is everybody having the same reaction when this is happening? Somebody who's already very timid and, who gets jittery, they will have a buyer. Somebody who's like, ready, go, dare. He said, go find that man, catch him, catch hold of him, struck this person. Somebody sees the blood or something like that, they are like,
Yeah.
It's one happening, one fraction of a second, and 10 people seeing it. Everybody has a different reaction to it. So we can never say the Rasa can be the same reaction. Sometimes even in movies when there's some comedy happening, I see my son jumping and laughing and I'm like, okay.
Oh God. No, because you're so right. It is very true because, for example, I see movies, I start crying. I'm so involved in whatever movies I see.
Yes,
the hero and heroine are talking, I am smiling as if I'm part of that conversation. It's very easy for people sitting around me because they don't get involved at the same level. They don't see why I'm crying. So my husband will say, he's just saying a dialogue. That's all it is. So he's already closed himself to, going past it.
My father will make fun. He will say, what type of movie are you going? Have you taken your kerchief today?
I landed a towel. It's that bad with me. So absolutely, it's just opening the mind to see what it is more than what is present.
Yes. So it's like, you can't make everybody feel the same or even the same degree.
Absolutely.
Having said that, in the stage performance, there is a possibility of creating similar responses from onlookers. Now, how is this possible? Now, we said Sadharanikarana.
Correct.
We have to objectify in a particular way that everybody sees the elephant. We have to objectify in a particular way that everybody sees this Rama.
Right.
So that Sadharanikarana is something, if you are able to, find this formula so that everybody can identify it, then your path is more clear. And you can create the type of response that we want. The only thing is, he should be ready and he should be a Sahridaya.
Right, absolutely.
The person is not ready to be a Sahridaya. Whatever you do,
you don't bridge
not really
that gap, and yes, they open up.
It's a little tough. And that is why we sometimes, we say, it's not about the real life. It is not about, every day enjoying the food or sleeping or earning. That is something we even have to educate our children to understand the aesthetic pleasure and beauty in life. That should be aesthetic classes, I think. In schools, students should have classes for aesthetics. Take up a flower and say how beautiful it is. If you see how beautiful the flower is, you will not have the mind to, do this to the flower. You smell, and I have heard that in Japan they used to have the tea ceremony. They even teach you how to enjoy your tea. Like that, we should have aesthetic classes. Say how beautiful this is. How do you appreciate this beauty? And then it will also give the mind not to turn into this, but just hold it like this and enjoy the beauty. So aesthetics is something which we never teach the children. And so many, there are various sections of the society who are not even exposed to this. Because you want your audience to come with a little of inclination.
Absolutely.
For movies, you don't ask that. I had my housemaid when I was very young. You know, she will just abscond one day. And then my mother will ask, where were you yesterday? You didn't even inform me. Those were not the days of cell phones though. But she'll just abscond. And then Amma will say, probably she must have gone to a movie only. She will come next day and she said, yeah, I saw the movie, so I didn't come yesterday. Done. After another 5 days, 7 days, she'll again abscond. She will not come for work. And then my mother will say, why? Again, she'll say, I went to the movie. Which movie? Same movie.
Huh.
Why? அப்ப சரியா புரியல. So this is something which I remember very well, because see, we do once in the right and once in the left some actions. Most of the people, when you do in the first time itself, they decode your action and they understand what you're trying to what you're speaking through your dance. But there might be a few who don't connect it with it immediately. So the second time is more helpful. So she says she enjoys the second time movie more than the first time movie. This is real story. But yeah, how we communicate is the duty of the performer. And that's why I practice over and over again. Sometimes I make my students, in fact, younger students in front of me and say, what did you understand by this? If all of them are able to say what I really meant or what I really performed, then I'm sort of convinced, yeah, it's okay. But even if 2 or 3 are not clear of what I performed, then I go and revisit why they didn't understand. Let me redo it again. Can this angle be better? Or can I use a different hasta to even, tell this? So this is very important in the realms of Rasa theory, that the communicator should be communicative enough. The communication should also transfer enough. The audience should also have a open mind, which is like, I'm ready to enjoy this bit. I'm just ready to, forget. I may have to go back and cook after this particular thing, but still I'm giving my mind at this particular point of time. So all this is given, and we have more technicalities. I don't think I will go to all those technicalities today. We can do another session there. How Tolkapya is different from Natya Shastra in the way of the setup or the Kalan. It is called as Kalan. Kutru Ketpur Munnam is how the scene is set. Kutru is like what is told, the statement. Ketpur is not one who is hearing. It is to whom it is intended to.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Kutru is the statement. Ketpur is to whom it is intended. Munnam is in which setup?
The environment or the
environment. Vibhava in our technical terms. Now take this example. There is this. You have seen it in movies. This girl will walk out of the house, and then she will turn inside and say, "Amma, na kovilku pore. Mummy, I'm going to the temple."
I get it. Okay. Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, spot on.
She said Amma, but it is not told to the mother.
Correct. The intended audience is
someone who's around, maybe her friend or even her lover, who wants to know where she's going next. So the Ketpur is not the person who's hearing it, but to whom that statement is intended to.
Right.
There are such beautiful nuances in Tolkapyam, how it is set up and how a visual can be brought into the mind. And what more? I think this is the basics which I would want to share as an introduction to Rasa theory. I have more to talk. I mean, we already started this whole conversation as it's an ocean. It's an ocean. And all the stalwarts who have written the text have also told that it's an ocean. And we are like sometimes, we get a log of wood and you hold on to it and try to float in this ocean and also find new things every time. So the mind, the sadharanikarana, the sahridaya, the abhinaya which goes between the actor and the spectator, how a particular scene can be having an impregnated poem. and it looks beautiful to the audience. And at the end of the day, after the presentation, somebody's having a tears or a horripilation, then it is really Brahmananda for that. Brahmananda moment on that particular day.
Absolutely. This is just so beautiful. I am already wondering when I can talk to you next. It's so amazing, just so many things. In fact, you mentioned something at the very, very beginning about Kutal. And it's not the negative connotation that it might have got over a period of time, perhaps. I remember once, this was intended as an insult to me, when somebody said, you are after all a Kutadi. And now I wonder, my God, you can't have given me a better compliment, because you had no idea what you were mentioning when you spoke to me.
Yes.
Initial stages. And I remember talking to Sudha Auntie, and I said, Auntie, this is what they said. And she said, oh, that is such a compliment. And she walked away. At that point, I was, after all, not even in college. And I was wondering, how is it a compliment? It comes as a negative connotation. But when the moment you said it, that's what came to my mind, because it's saying that is a beautiful compliment. And I should have said thanks at that point. I was shocked and a very young, immature child. But, and now I understand what my guru told me when she said, yes, it was a compliment. And she walked up, and, it's obviously she has faced that as well. And many people have, but it's so beautiful that when we revisit, as you correctly said, why do you even revisit? There is so much there to bring forth and learn. Are we in modern times, is it even relatable? I think so. I think we go back and use so much of what they do. And so much of the thinking, you mentioned so many layers of all the bhavas. I mean, different types of bhavas. That itself is so much of psychology, right? We have labeled.
Not psychology, because it's about the mind, right?
Exactly.
If it is about the mind, then what else? It is psychology. And, to make somebody laugh or cry, if it is not psychological, it doesn't work that way.
And imagine
just an opening up of the lip alone is just not laughter. It's not laughter, right? If I do, it looks like fun. But, making a person laugh or making a person cry, and that too out of unreal things. It's only a visual. It is. So even Abhinav Gupta says that, it's a world by itself. Natya, it's a world by itself. There is nothing which cannot be seen in that world. Everything in this world can be seen in that world. He uses the word anukarana there and says it's just a reflection. Like how we have the Abhinaya Darpana or other things. Natya is a reflection of the whole world. And for that moment, it becomes a real world for people who give their mind. And it is not a real world for others who are not ready to give their mind.
Wow. Beautifully said. Beautifully. I cannot thank you enough. It has been amazing because, you show it in such a simplified manner that a lot of us who might not have the, I won't say time, but also the interest or the ability to go through these texts. It's amazing that Kutanul or anything else has these parallels, because when we are taught, we are usually exposed to Natya Shastra, predominantly Natya Shastra.
Yes.
And the Rasa theory in Natya Shastra, but we never realize that there is so much more. In fact, I see so much of it even, say, when I read the Nalaya Divya Prabandham, on how Tirumangai Alvar can become the mother of the daughter, can become the daughter, can become a lay person who's talking. There's just so much of sudden transitions. I think they just go into the character, and sometimes
very much.
You go into the character. Oh my God, Andal pining for the Lord. As you say, it's different. They bring you into what they're doing. Poetry as well, any art for that matter.
Yeah, whatever I have gathered and spoke is all the grace of, all those Bharata and Tolkapir, everybody, and also all my teachers. I've been with Padma Shri Chitra Visveshwar, my guru, and Dr. Padma Subramaniam, Kalanidhi Mami, and then Raghuraman sir, and also inspiration from so many senior dancers. So it is, what I have done is just gathered things together. That's it. It's none of my contribution, I could say, but I enjoy doing this. Just gathering, there's so much still left not done together.
Absolutely. But it's you put it very simply, just gathering, but somebody had to do all that hard work and gather and also share. I think that is equally important, not just the gathering. But thank you so much, Akka. It's been such a lovely talk. I am really looking forward to talking more. And the next stage, as you said, how are these three completely differently set and how do they view things? I think those are some
Yes.
that we would love to learn as well. But right now, I know your time is precious and your knowledge is even more precious to us. So thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to visit something which I love. And that is why, I was like, I should do this. I should do this. So thank you so much. And I hope the people listening to this will also enjoy this beauty of this, the aesthetics of the culture and the tradition and the art. And let's make everybody relish this beauty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mridula.